Hi, guys. Are we ready to go through all this auction stuff and see what I got for $7.50? Um, I was telling my husband, I said, I was after the paper mostly, and if I didn't win it, I was okay with that because, I got lots of paper in my craft room already. But, you know, I always need more paper eventually. So I was okay not getting it, so I put a top bid of $15 on it. If somebody outbid me, I wasn't going to be worried about it. But nobody else bid on it. So I got the entire lot for $7.50 plus tax. So it was like $9.74 or $9.76, something like that. But um holy moly, there was a lot of stuff. Like I filled my entire back seat of my pickup truck with that, and there's a two-drawer metal filing cabinet in the back of my truck still. um it really was not a good idea for me to lift that up into the bed of my truck. But the auction house does not provide helpers. They expect you to bring your own, and I don't really have anybody to help me. So I lifted that thing up into the bed of my truck by myself. I'm not lifting it back out, and I'm not carrying it into the house. So my husband knows it's there, and as soon as I get the corner in my living room cleaned out, that's where it's going to go, and then everything that's in that corner is going to go into the drawers. So, but so let's get started, and I'm going to start with what I would consider equipment. First and foremost, right under my feet, or under my feet, but under the desk right below here that you can't see, is a heated footrest. Yeah, you got that right. A heated footrest. Oh, feels so great on my feet. I got a good old fashioned 3-hole punch. Doot, doot. I haven't tested it out to see how sharp it is still. I mean, I suppose I could do that now. Works great. Bigger holes than your standard 3-hole, but it works. Makes 3 holes. So I did get that. I'm not sure about it though, because I don't really punch holes in things um, for like 3-ring binders and stuff. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 baskets. Um, Baskets are always good in a craft room. Um, so in this basket was timers. Yes, these are electrical timers. So you plug this into your wall. You plug your so like my brain. My dragon lights are on timers. So they go on and they go off automatically based on the time that's set on this timers. So tabs in, the timer is on. So if you want things off, so say I wanted the lights to go off at 7 p.m. and come on at 7 a.m. I would lift these up, put these down, and then at 7 a.m. it would click on. They would turn on, and at 7 p.m. it would turn off. Now this little dial here, you set it to the current time. So like today, right now it's 1:20. So you would turn this to roughly about there, between the 1 and the 2. Um, so that way it knows exactly so it tracks the time correctly. This one's a really fancy one, and it's got these little tabbies for on and off. Whoops. I've never seen one quite like this before, but Blackwell switch on, off. Again, plug it into the wall. You plug your device that you want on a timer into here. White's at AM, gray is PM. And again, it comes with these little tabs so you can do multiple times. So if you want it to turn on and off 2 times a day, you know, So I'm not sure what, I mean, there's white and there's gray. I guess it's, you know, I don't know, color coded for people. But yeah, so I got 2 of those timers. I'm not sure, I don't know that we have anything else that requires timing. But I will run those by my husband, and if he can't think of anything or he doesn't need them for anything at work, I'll probably put those up for sale. There is this nifty little cutter, which, again, I'm going to ask my husband about, because I don't need it for anything. So it is a Easy Mat product. Cut your own mats. So there is a blade right here. Loosen this. The blade goes in under there, and you slide this along the surface to cut your mat. But what mat? You know, is it for like picture, like matting for pictures? Maybe? It looks that way, actually, now that I pulled the directions out. So yes, it's for cutting a mat board for pictures. So, I don't know, maybe I will keep this and play with it and figure it out. Slide this all back in there without getting my finger on the blade, preferably. Okay, let's put that in there last. Good Lord. This thing's not going back in the box. Came out of the box. Doesn't want to go back in the box. There we go. This is an order form to order new blades. I don't even know if this company is still in business. I'll have to Google. But it does currently have extra blades. I got a new pair of scissors. Never have too many scissors in this place. Although, I also got these cheapo decorative scissors that I have actually been through several. It seems like every time I buy a lot, I end up with a set of these. And I've given so many away. I'm gonna keep this one this time, because the only thing I have currently that makes this shape are my pinking shears, and when I'm cutting out little stamps, the pinking shears are too wide. It gives too big of a, you know, the spacing is too much. Got an X-Acto knife. which is great, always handy. I'm going to stick that right up there into my organizer. In this little ResMed bag is a pair of headphones and this cute little AM/FM radio. It does take two AAAs. It's got batteries in it, but the batteries are dead. So, as soon as I get some AAA batteries, I'll play with this. Probably will not keep this. Don't really need anything like this. As you can hear, my music is playing in the background. I have Spotify on my phone. I have headphones for my phone that are wireless. So I don't really need this kind of thing. So this will probably also go up for sale. I think that is it as far as equipment goes. I'm scanning my room. Yes. Some stuff that is not currently in my craft room because I'm not keeping any of it, and it is going to be donated to the secondhand store. Is I have a bunch of 3-ring binders, both hardcover and like cloth squishy cover. Some business portfolio folders that are all. I'm going to donate all of those to Goodwill. And a big metal box that had some of the maps that are in a that I have moved over into a basket were all in that metal box. That metal box is already out in the garage. So here's another set. This is 2 baskets. So in here I have these kind of Post-it notes, and I've got 5 packages of unopened Posties here, blue and green. I have a spot right here under all this other stuff on my organizer for Post-it notes, so I'm just going to stick those right there. Stick my open Post-it pad right on top of it. I don't know what those were for. Sorry, I just realized, I'm like, oh yeah, there's some stuff up here I can throw away. I don't know about what. I don't really have a need for these that I can think of off the top of my head. If you can think of anything I can use for these in the realm of crafting, let me know. I'm open. I have an entire roll of labels. Nice big roll. I will be working with those. I'll probably coffee dye them or tea dye them, or I've actually ordered a big, like a 24 count of water-based food coloring so that I can do different colored papers. So I'll probably save that now that I'm thinking about it, and I'll do different colored water papers. Just a cute little grid paper pad that'll stick with my paper stuff. I'm actually not sure why it's anyway. Mounting corners, which these I send oh, these are clear. When I make a journal for somebody who is going to be adding a lot of pictures into their journal, I will send some mounting corners. I also have a hole, not a hole punch, a paper punch here that I cut out of cardstock, and I send paper corners as well. And then 3 boxes of photo paper. These 2 are not even open. So there's 50 sheets, 100 sheets, and then how many are left in this one? Maybe 20? 15, 20 sheets left. Don't really use a whole lot of photo paper, at least I haven't, in the junk journaling world, but I will figure it out because I got it. So I'm not sure how well photo paper works with inkjet. So I have to try it out. I'll be doing some testing. And again, there's 2 baskets here. Okay. From there, we're going to go on to bases. So these, I mean, there's folders galore. Folders. 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 And folders. What I do with folders is I use it as cardstock. I don't use them as folders. So I use them in my die cutting, and it gives me different, different materials to work with. Some different colors, different textures. These ones have some really cool pictures on the back, so I'll probably cut those pictures out and use them as ephemera, maybe. Depending on the height of these, I mean, I could even possibly, let's see, they are 12 by 8.5-ish. I was like, well, depending on the size, I might be able to turn it into a journal, but it is fairly big. So maybe not. I've got a couple of these plastic sheets. So this I could use as acetate. But then I've got one like this. And I've used these before. In fact, I've got a pile of them, a stack of them over there, where I actually cut this down and I use it as pockets in a journal. I have to sew these down because I haven't found a glue that's good enough to permanently hold those. So those are pockets that I glue down. I'm actually going to put that in that cabinet. I haven't completely gone through, I didn't go through like these one by one to see what all was in them. I just know that, lots of folders. And now that I know what that little cutting blade is for, I'm like, they're cardboard. Just random pieces of cardboard. And I'm like, what were they doing that produced what I would use in journaling? Now I know. They were cutting mat boards. See if I can figure out how to make something like this. into a journal, it would be cool. I mean, it just goes and it goes and it goes. You know, it's got a cool little slot pocket. This would flip out. This would make a cool folio. If I'm, you know, to be completely honest, this I'll probably just collage and use these as little collage sheets. But anyway, so there's that. I get all these put back in here. Now I do have a very large tote underneath my table where I put all of my cardboard that I use for making journals. I could put those in there, but I'm going to leave them in that little organizer for now. So I'll have red folders. These are lots of different colors. Blue, purple, gray. You know, so that gives me some teal. So that gives me some fun colors to work with on die cutting. In here is all kinds of different, mostly manila folders, but they're, as you saw, there were some red ones in there. I just added that stack of red ones in there. But yeah, I mean, folders galore. And then I have a bunch of these, which again, I'll trim these off. I'll trim off the 3-hole because there's, you know, got the plastic reinforcement. I'll probably run these or coffee dye these because in general, white, we don't, you know, it's too white. Most of us journalers don't like the stark white. So I will probably coffee dye those as well. So those are folders. Give me just a second. Had to blow my nose. Okay, on to paper. This was actually the part of the auction that I was truly bidding on. As I knock one over. Okay. Let me grab the one that I knocked over. Not too exciting on this one. It's different weights of coffee paper. Some snowflake copy paper, like stationery type. There's 2 unopened ones in there of that. CD sleeves, which are going to be fun to play with. Because these are ones that are designed to go through your printer. They got gluey so you can glue them together. But how fun is that going to be to be able to print digitals on these? And then put them together. So that'll be something different in my shop that I've never seen anybody else have. So that'll be cool. I'm not sticking that back in the plastic. I'm not going to fight with it. Brochure and flyer paper. got designs on it. Two composition notebooks, a spiral notebook, and just a regular old ruled tablet. There's one box of paper. Sorry, I'm trying to move cords and stuff out of the way as I'm going. So in this box, I've got some heavy cardstock. It does have a score line down the center, so this is meant for cards. But that's okay. I will use it as signature pages and journals. I can use it for die cutting because it is that heavier stock. It actually is textured as well, which makes it kind of fun. Again, here's that plastic sheet that I was talking about earlier that I can use for acetate. And I stuck it in here because this is the acetate mother lode. Transparency film. It says for laser printers, black image on clear. I don't use these in my printer. I actually cut them down and use them for like windows on my specimen slides, homemade envelopes, and cut out a window and then add the acetate to it so that it's like a window envelope, which I won't have to be doing that too much anymore because I have a ton. I have a ton of windowed envelopes. I have a ton of envelopes. So I don't usually make my own envelopes anyway. Ugh. I'm curious. It says black image on clear. Oh, I see what it's saying. So it's interesting that image film on rough side. Oh. Uh-huh. I won't need this because, again, I'm not using it for printing. I may try it in the printer and see if it works on inkjet. How long it'll take it to dry is going to be the thing, or will it ever dry? But, so there's that. More transparency film. Some hard cardstock in there. There's only a couple sheets of that left. More transparency. This is going to be nice. I won't have to buy more for a long time. And then another unopened box. Matte bomb one size. This is not presentation weight. This isn't transparency. This should be in the other box. See, they shopped at Goodwill for stuff. This is where Goodwill is where I get a lot of my supplies as well. I'm trying to figure out where the opening, anywhere that I can stick. Let's do this. Unopened. They bought this for $4 at Goodwill. It's probably at least a $20 box of paper. Okay, just plain white, but presentation quality ultra white presentation weights a 26 pound, 8.5 by 11. So those will run through my printer with no problem. It's going to make nice printables for future journals. And that should actually be in this box. So I have envelopes that I'm going to use to make journal covers with. Business cards. Double-sided matte paper. Photo paper. And inkjet paper. So I'm going to add this to this box. And these are all going to go on the shelf behind me. So, I mean, they're not going to stay in these organizers. But for now, while everything's hanging out on my floor, they're going to stay in these boxes. And then I have this one, which is overflow of everything else. So I've got, oh, this isn't all of it. This is my second box of just like random paper types. There's like tracing paper. This is very thin. I can't even get 2 pages separate here. You know, very thin tracing paper. Presentation quality. These have 3-hole punches. They're already punched, but it's plain, you know, 8.5 by 11 paper. But it does have plastic tabbies on there that I'll cut off before I use them. And then whatever this was. So that's what's in this box. And again, this is the overflow general paper because the other one's really full. Give me just a second. Somebody's knocking on my door. All right, I'm back. And then last but not least, as far as the paper goes, as you can see, this is full. Now, there's just your regular old white college rule notebook paper. There's several different kinds of graph paper, which is going to be fun. Another kind. Another kind. Another kind. So lots of graph paper. Lots of graph paper, which I'm okay. I love. Graph paper is good. There's 3 college or legal length yellow paper. One of them is almost empty. This one's part near empty. This one's pretty much empty. And this is longer than... Oh no, this is letter, this is legal. So I'll probably try to use those up. I've got this legal size sheet of this really cool paper. It feels, the texture on it's really nice. It's not your standard yellow. It is legal size, but it's not that bright yellow. It's a little more antique-y yellow. But I will probably still coffee dye those. Get them more antique-y. And they're actually even longer than the legal. So, a little longer. Oh, found another one of the yellow ones. And then I've got 2 of white. Both of them are almost empty. And then I've got, oh, see, more grid paper. And then I've got 2 boxes, or 2 pads of columnar business pages, 4 column, 2 column. These will go over on my shelf in my business cubby. Got a whole section over there of business papers. But check out all of that grid paper. And like I said, and then again, boring old regular school paper. But there's my paper stash. Oh, equipment. Something else that I got in this lot is a 7-outlet surge protector. It's longer than what it'll fit right here. It's like 2 feet long. And it retails, I looked it up. It's brand new. It's still in its package. So I looked it up. It's a $30 surge protector. $29.99. And that was part of this lot as well. So keep that in mind. I have a photo box. I don't really have any room for more of these. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them already on my shelf over there. I don't really have anywhere. Scanning the room. I don't really have any. I can see one place where I possibly could store it, but then I don't really have any use for it. Like there's nothing that. As I'm looking around my craft room, as crazy and chaotic as it is, there isn't anything that doesn't already have a place or already have its organization. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. Oh, also, equipment. I never wanted to invest in a small paper trimmer. I'm like, what's the point in that? Just buy a big one that'll cut everything. But I have seen some value in, when I'm cutting little stuff you know, to have a little one instead of having to like pull my big one out, either make room on my table or have it hanging off the end like it is now, just so that I can cut something this little. Um, but I couldn't justify buying. Something under there is hanging that up. Should slide right under my table, and I don't know what's grabbing it under there. Craft-a-Lanch. But it came in the lot, so great. I have a tiny little trimmer. Don't know where I'm gonna put it. Although the paper trimmer fits in the box. So for now, that's where it's gonna go. And a presentation stand. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I'll figure that out, and maybe I can use it in the for our 4-H club during meetings. I don't think I necessarily need it in my world of crafting, but I don't know. Now, this is the craziness. Are you guys ready for this? Oh, before I go on to that, I also got a box of envelopes. These are A9, 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. Holds an 8.5 by 11, folded in half. So, some envelopes to play with, add to my stash. Speaking of envelopes, the next tutorial series that I'm going to be doing on my channel is going to be using envelopes. How to use envelopes. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure what day of the week that's going to be. So, ready? Maps. I didn't even think I could fit them both on my table. Ugh. Maps. Maps. I gotta be careful, my coffee cup is back there, behind that one. Look at all these maps. And tour books, guidebooks. There's a bunch in this one. Tour books. So as I was going through these, I kind of started to organize them by state. But by the time I got into the second basket, I realized there was some in the second basket that I already organized in the first basket. So it's not completely done. But my plan for this is I'm going to organize them by state, and then I'm going to bundle them together, and I'll be selling them as bundles in my Etsy. Some of these I will keep for myself, obviously, but there's no way me by myself need this many maps. These were mine from before. They just I was showing them to my husband, so I just stuck them in here to get them back into my craft room. But I will be adding those back to my stash as well, and this will add to my stash. I do like these, which I now know they're called Metzger's maps. But they kind of show. There's no way for me to really open this in a way that. Okay, so it shows county by blocks. Not like city blocks, but land blocks. And I like these. These are cool. The irony of me sitting here trying to fold a map. I have a story about that. A Boy Scout story, actually. So, all of that. Can you believe that? So, 45 minutes showing you all of this stuff. Ugh. $7.50 plus tax. And if I'm able to sell some of this in my Etsy, I'm going to make that money back in no time flat. No time flat. Especially once I get those maps listed. So that is my winnings for this latest auction. Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you have any ideas, if seeing some of this stuff, if anything sparked an idea in your mind other than what I've already said what I'm going to do with it, or that you've seen me use it for on my channel, please, 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 please leave some suggestions in the comments below. And with the envelopes, if you know of good ways to use envelopes in journals, hit me up in the comments. Send me some links, whatever. I've got a whole bunch on my playlist that I'm going to be going through and doing samples of each of those to make sure that I like doing them, that I enjoy them, before I put them to as a tutorial in on my channel. So, but I'm open for suggestions. So if you know of some, or you know a creator that uses envelopes, please link them below and I will go check them out. But until next time, toodles. Peace out.